Alrighty. Good evening. Hi, Pauline. How are you?
Fine, Nolene. How are you?
I am fine. I'm doing well. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
so much for accepting the invite and for being our guest this evening. So I'll start by introducing myself and introducing Safe Space. Then I will introduce you. Then we'll move on to the topic for today. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you're joining us from or wherever you are catching the recording from. My name is Noeline. I am a supply chain professional with a passion for operational excellence and opportunities for learning. I am the
Mm-hmm.
host of Safe Space, and Safe Space is a judgment free area. It's a learning and development space where we can all gather and have our questions answered, have our concerns addressed, and so what we do is we get subject matter experts who come on and run the sessions as our guest speakers. Today we are joined by Pauline Kiraithe. Karibu sana Pauline. I need to translate also. Welcome, Pauline, because not all of us are
Yes.
purely English and Swahili speakers. So I will put you in the center of the screen, Pauline, as the main solo view, as I introduce you to the audience. So, Pauline is a global multi award winning HR consultant and executive leadership life and career coach with over 28 years of multi-sectoral HR leadership experience. She has a vast multi sector experience, having worked in the NGO, telecommunications, retail, media, education, and professional consulting sectors. Over her career, she rose the career ladder with her last corporate position being the HR director of Standard Media Group. She is now in her seventh year as an entrepreneur, executing purpose through her organization, Talent Gurus 254, where she is now using her vast HR experience to assist companies and individuals unleash their true potential. Talent Gurus 254 has developed the Ignite Youth Leadership, Ascend Self Leadership, Ascend Masterclass, and the Refresh Personal Coaching programs that provide youth and professionals with life skills, personal development, leadership training, mentorship, and career coaching services. Since inception, with her team of coaches, she has coached over 3,500 individuals directly and over 150,000 individuals indirectly in their areas of passion and talent. She is also the curator of the leading career coaching program, the Ascend Self Leadership Program, a globally virtually delivered program. Since its inception in 2020, 702 global corporate mid to senior level leaders from 18 countries globally have graduated from the program, and she's actually had 30 different cohorts graduate from the program. This has moved the individuals into living with greater intentionality and impact in their personal lives, careers, and businesses. So we are in good hands. We have the subject matter expert with us today. Welcome, Pauline. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very
Alrighty.
much.
So we'll move.
Mhm.
Sorry. There seems to be a lag. Apologies. Go
Okay,
on,
go ahead.
Pauline.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you very much
Alrighty.
for this opportunity to speak to your people in the Safe Space Forum. It's indeed a privilege to come and share my thoughts around careers, yeah, and how to own your career and own your journey, yeah. So, careers is something that I'm very passionate about. And it's
Mm,
a challenge that I saw when I was in mainstream corporate. I was in mainstream HR for 21 years, where I saw two key problems in the workspace. Yeah. So
mm,
one key problem I saw in the workspace, and that's what we're trying to solve in the marketplace right now, is I realized
mhm,
that out of every 10 people we used to interview, eight of the people interviewed had pursued other courses other than what they're currently
Mhm.
doing. So for me, what I read from that was there's a lot of
Mhm.
time and a lot of resources that were being channeled in the wrong careers, in the wrong jobs. You understand? Yeah. So
Mm.
it means that people are spending a lot of time and money
Yeah.
pursuing courses that they eventually don't do. And the second key problem that I also saw in the workspace was that being in HR would put in a lot of initiatives in the workspace, but I would still see a lot of employees still not engaged, not loving their jobs, and still demotivated. And so for me, it sent me on a
Mm.
journey to understand why are people not engaged in the workspace. Yeah, what is this issue about engagement? Why don't
Mm.
people love their jobs? You almost have to push people to do their work. And actually, after research, I discovered that
Mm.
87% of people who work globally actually don't enjoy what they do. So that's also another problem of disengagement. And so through those two, seeing those two
Mm.
problems, I embarked onto the journey of how to get people to understand themselves from an early age.
Mm.
That's why we have the youth program. Yeah,
Mm.
for people to understand themselves better. But the other key thing is to get into the right career from the get-go so that they can live intentional, productive lives. Yeah, I tell people for you to see somebody
Mm.
who's engaged in their work, you will see innovation, you will see creativity, and you will see productivity. So that's a gauge for all of us. If you're not being creative, if you're
Mm.
not being productive, yeah, if you're not seeing those fruits in your career life,
Mm.
then there's a problem. Yeah, either maybe you need to change or maybe you need to review what's not
Mm.
working. So that's what sent me into this journey, and so that's how
Mm.
we founded Talent Gurus. So thank you very much.
Mhm.
And today I want to talk about something that's very I'm passionate about, which is owning your career, because this is now the challenge I throw back to employees, yeah, to people who are working, yeah, to even myself, that you have to own your journey. You have to own your career journey. It's not the responsibility of your organization to push
Mm.
you in any direction. Yeah, you're the one to own your journey and decide this is where I want to start off. This is where I want to move to. Yeah, so if you're able to own your journey, you can plan it and you can be able to achieve it. I'll talk about what it takes to get to that. Okay, so let me just share my screen.
Mm.
And tell me if you can see it. Can see it? Nolene, can
Yes,
you
yes,
see?
you can. Yes,
Okay, good.
yes.
Yeah,
Mm.
so I'll start off with just asking some rhetoric questions. And the questions I'll ask you is, have you ever wondered how some people seem to have more clarity and direction in their careers and their lives more than others? Have you ever wondered why certain people have managed to be more successful in their careers than others? And do you yearn to grow yourself? Yeah. And you keep wondering where to start. What is the best route to use to grow yourself? And then the other question I'll want you to ask yourself is, why do you need to attain mastery in your career journey? So I'll take you, I'm going to simulate it. It's going to be just 10 steps, but I'll simulate it like a chess game. Because for me, I truly believe that life is like a game of chess, changing with every move. So every move that you make in your career is very important because it's actually going to determine your the next result. Yeah, and I'll take you through the journey to mastery because this is the journey we all have to take if you want to own your career journey. And interesting, the journey, owning your career and owning your journey to mastery is actually the topic of my book, which I'll talk about later. So, where does this journey begin? The first move, and this is by observation and actually after coaching people, yeah, I've come to realize that actually we were never ever taught about ourselves. We were taught about many other things, but not ourselves. So the first move is you need to understand that everybody has a unique talent, and you need to understand what your talent is. Yeah. The other thing I want you to also think about is who is a master. So as you can see that picture there, and maybe I don't know, Nolin, if they can engage. You have a chat here. So I want them to tell me, the gentleman there, when you see that picture, what do you think of when you see that picture of that gentleman? When you see the lady below here, what do you think of? Because each and every one of us needs to be known for one thing. Yeah. So for Tiger Woods, he's known for, have they said something? Nolin? Nolin, are you there?
Typical of live events, video events. I said golf, but I was on mute.
Okay, golf. Okay. And then the lady below,
Tennis.
yes, tennis. So for the two of them, at least when you see their picture, you can tell what they're good at. Yeah. So these are masters. These are known to be masters in golf, in tennis. And so who's a master? A master is somebody who has shown great skill and proficiency in something, somebody who has acquired complete knowledge or skill in a subject matter. Yeah. The lady at the top, do you know her? She's called Aretha Franklin. She's known as the best R&B singer that has ever lived. I'm sure you all know Michael Jackson. Yeah, he's the king of pop. And even this old man here, when you see his picture, you know. This is Albert Einstein. Yeah, he's the greatest, one of the greatest thinkers that have ever lived. So the same question, I'll throw it back to you. If your picture is put up here, what will people say? What are you known for? Yeah. So for us, the first step is to ask ourselves, what is the thing that I've been gifted with? And just know that you're not going to attain mastery in one day. It's going to be a journey. Yeah. And that journey is going to be a long one. Yeah. But it's going to require your consistency, and it's going to require your resilience, that staying power. Yeah, that staying power until you gain that mastery. If you look at Serena's journey into tennis, she has been at it not for 1 decade or two, but over 4 decades for her to be called the greatest. Yeah, so that's move number one. You need to start asking yourself, where is my strength? Where does it lie? The second move would be the journey starts with self discovery. So we are all gifted. First, acknowledge we are all gifted with a talent. The second one is you have to invest in your own self discovery. So, this is something that no one will do for you, but you will have to discover what you carry. Yeah. And the reason why we have to discover what we carry is that's the thing that will give us the confidence as we play out in the marketplace. Yeah. And you can see that lady, as you can see that lady playing that violin, you can see that's passion. You can see her passion. Yeah. And so just know that you have to discover the thing that you're passionate about, the thing uh, that fire that burns in your belly, that constantly wants to put you at work. You have to discover what your passion is. But also just know that you're also born with potential. Everybody, as I said, everybody was born with a talent, but actually everybody's born with potential. And what is potential? You can see the way this curb looks like. It can remain as a curb, or if it actually does some self work, yeah, that which is what we are calling self discovery, it will discover that it's a lion, and it will go out to live its full potential. So, just the same way, we are all born with latent potential. Latent potential. So, like now, maybe Serena was born with potential for games and for games and athletics. Yeah, just ability to manipulate her body well. Yeah, that is something she was born with, but she had to do sports, she had to exercise for it to fully come alive. The same thing, even music. People are born with music potential. So young children are born with the ability to hum and catch on lyrics to music quickly. Yeah, but the thing is, if you do nothing about it, it will only remain at potential stage. So what we have to do is we have to tap, first understand where we have a potential in, and then what we do is we work onto it so that now it becomes talent. And now, once it becomes talent, is when now we have harnessed that potential and we have put in the work for it to actually now come to for it to be fully developed and for it to be called talent. You will find you have a natural flair for it. You actually have a natural aptitude or a natural knack for it. Yeah. And that is actually now what we call developed potential. Yeah. And so this is where now you find somebody who was always singing in the shower has actually gone to music school. They have learned how to play a music instrument. They have actually gone for voice training. So they've actually become a good international musician because now they have actually tapped into their potential and turned it into talent. So the interesting thing is many people actually die with their potential. Reason being, very few of us do self work. That is why I've put it here as a stage. You have to do your self work, that self discovery, so that you understand where your talent is. Because it doesn't emerge as talent, it comes in as potential. Yeah. And this is why you'll find there are certain people in the workspace who do much better in the same job than others. Reason being, they have actually tapped into their potential and turned it into talent. The other thing I also tell people that you also need to be aware of is also your personality, because this is also something God has gifted each one of us. So if you get to understand your personality well, each personality has its strengths and its weaknesses. So what you need to do is now tap into your strengths. Tap into the strengths of your personality. And in life, if you realize people who have been successful, it's not that they are better than the rest. What they have done is they've understood how to leverage on their strengths and minimize on their weaknesses. So even the same thing for you, even in the workspace. That's what you need to do. Understand, I'm a choleric, maybe. Yeah, your personality is a choleric. So what you need to do is find out what are the good things about my personality that I can tap into that will actually make me succeed in the workspace. Then also be aware of your weaknesses, because understanding your weakness is also strength. Because I've also seen people who have lost jobs because of not understanding their personalities. So with our personalities, whichever personalities, and if you can Google, there are four key temperaments, yeah, four personality types. That if you understand and you're able to place yourself well, then you leverage on your strengths. Then what happens is that once you leverage on your strengths, your weaknesses are minimized. Yeah. So there's nobody who doesn't have weaknesses. What you see is that people have just understood themselves better. They've done more self work. And then what they do is they accentuate their strength. So at some point, you even don't notice their weaknesses. And that is what actually will put you at the forefront in the marketplace. Yeah. The other thing you'll need to also understand, if you are not born with the potential, yeah, in an aspect, in an area or a skill, in an area that you require, you can actually buy the skill. And this is the reason why we go to school. So you need to understand that not everybody who is good at at uh, at a skill was born with it. You can actually buy it. Yeah. And so this is the other second way you can actually acquire skills that can give you um, prominence or can give you success in the marketplace. Yeah. And so if you go to school, the beauty about buying a skill is that it is defined, it is guaranteed that if you actually go through the course and you do it very well, you will actually gain that ability to do something well, and you'll gain that expertise. So this is the second route that you can still also gain that excellence in the marketplace. Yeah, and the beauty about it is that it can actually help you even predict results. Yeah. So sometimes, yes, we can be talented, naturally talented with in an area, but the thing is, you can perfect it by still going to school, gaining the skill. Yeah. And what you do is that you accentuate and you're able to even bring more value in the marketplace. The other thing I also want to just also demystify for all of us is what jobs and careers are, because I know a lot of people use them interchangeably. A job. A job is any paid position. So any activity that is done regularly and you're paid is a job. Yeah. So a job is not a career. So a job could be you're paid on a daily basis. There are people paid daily. There are people who are paid weekly. There are people who are paid monthly. So understand, anything where you trade your time for payment, that's a job. But then a job does not qualify to be called a career. And so remember, we're talking about owning our careers. So what is a career? Now, a career is an occupation that you've done over a significant period of time. And through that process, you have gained different titles, you have gained different uh, experiences, that you've gained experience, and you've also accomplished a lot of work during that period. Yeah, and the thing is, you've been able to even focus in like an area. So, like you remember the way I said, for me, I've been in HR for now 28 years, but 21 years in corporate. So through that whole process, I started from the bottom, but I went up the ladder, career ladder, over time, but it is all around people development. It's all around how to manage human resource capacity in organizations. You understand? So if you have been able to stay in an area, yeah, an occupation for a long period of time, and you've gained experience and you've been building on it year in, year out, then that can qualify to be called a career. Yeah. But now the problem is where I hear nowadays people moving from today you're a chef, the next day you have moved to being a secretary, the next day you'll move to and maybe doing a waitress or something. That will not qualify to be a career. So the thing is, you need to decide which path you want to take. Yeah, because there might be a need for you to focus. You've seen Tiger Woods is not known for five things. Tiger Woods is known for one thing. So if you want to get to levels of mastery, and that is where we are moving to, because for you to be recognized in the marketplace, you have to gain mastery. Then that focus is required. But just also know that as you move into your areas of potential and as you move into areas of giftings and talent, what happens is that it will attract a lot of remuneration, it will attract popularity. Yeah. But now what happens? It will also attract a lot of money. But I have also seen it in the workspace where a lot of people end up wasting that potential. Yeah, and they get derailed from their career journey. So you have to be aware that as those things come your path, you have to be disciplined. Yeah. Then the other key thing around when we talk about careers that we also have to talk about is purpose. How do you find your purpose? And what purpose is? And so that's one of the questions that was there. So purpose is usually the thing that you are made for, the reason for being. So it's like you're a manufacturer and you're making cups, but now you produce a cup and then it's used for eating. That's the wrong purpose. So the same thing, the way you are created, God has created you for a purpose. And the reason I'm very sure that He has created you for a purpose is because our giftings, yeah, our exposures and experiences are also different. But He has equipped us specially with all those things so that we can actually carry out a certain specific purpose here on earth. And there are certain problems that you see in your life right now that are unique to you, and you're the only one who sees. So those problems are actually the problems you should be solving. So the key thing is to understand that purpose that you have. Yeah, it's for you to search as you're doing your self-discovery. Yeah, for you to search what your purpose is. And there's a very nice way of discovering what your purpose could be. So you need to understand what your profession is, what your passion is, what your mission is, and what your vocation is. So if you understand those four things about yourself, where they intersect at the center, that's where your purpose is. Yeah. And a simple way of breaking it down, your profession is what you're paid for. Your passion is it's something that you're great at. Your mission is something that you love. Your vocation is what you're paid for. Your profession is what you're great at. Your passion is what you love, and mission is what the world needs. So, like for example, for me, my profession was HR. What I'm great at is I think, and I've been told I'm great at understanding people and where their strengths are I'm able to help people, yeah, understand their key strengths. What is my passion? My passion is coaching people, yeah, enlightening people so that they can think differently about themselves and their careers. What is my mission? My mission is to help that 87% of people who are disengaged in the marketplace, yeah, to find the thing that they love so that they can be all productive. So when you come here at the center where all these four intersect, that is where now what I am doing with Talent Gurus came to be. So you have to find the thing, yeah, where they all intersect and how they come together so that you can now live a purposeful life. Yeah, so where you're fully utilizing your giftings, where you're fully utilizing your experiences, yeah, yeah, also experiences good and bad, and you will find that they'll all gel together and you will find your purpose. Yeah, but that doesn't come by just uh, it just doesn't come on its own. There's a lot of work that you have to do. So for me to even find that purpose of mine, it took me a lot of, I had to do a lot of self-awareness. I had to go onto a journey of understanding who I am. What do I carry? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? I did a lot of coaching. I did a lot of programs. I did a lot of personal development to grow myself. Yeah. And the beauty about self-awareness, you can see like this cup, once you know what you carry, another version of you is actually unleashed. And that is actually your true version. Yeah. Once you acknowledge these are my weaknesses and you're okay, these are my weaknesses, guess what? Yeah. Uh, the world is actually just going to adjust. And then now what you do is you leverage on your strengths. And then once you start leveraging on your strengths, what happens is that you just keep moving from one level to the other. The truth is, I'll tell you, the person that I am today, when I was in my 20s, I'd never even imagined I could be who I am today. Yeah. But with every course that I took, with every psychometric test that I did, I saw a new side of me. I saw a new strength of me. And what did I do? With every new discovery about myself, I practiced. I went out, pushed myself, pushed the boundaries to gain more strength to become a better version of who I am. So self-awareness, this journey takes a lot of self-work. Yeah. And you also have to keep pushing the boundaries. And guess what? Once you do that, the doors of greater potential just open up and you meet another version of yourself. So if you really want to get into this journey, you truly have to understand yourself. And I can tell you the best is even yet to come. And you have to just, for me, I summarize it as you have to understand your personality fully, your talents, your giftings, your passions, your experiences, your abilities, as well as also your intelligences. So if you want to read more about the intelligences, they're in my book. Read through it and you will understand yourself more holistically. So you're more than just your name. Are we together? You're more than just your name. You're more than the title of the job that you do in the organization that you're working. You carry much more. You have to unleash all this so that this new version of you, the lion in you, is unleashed. The third level, the third move in our game to mastery is that mastery is actually 10,000 repetitions. You have to be intentional. So you don't become a master by doing something once. You're going to become a master by doing the thing that you want to be known for 10,000 times. That's why they say, by the way, Tiger Woods, they've said, even if you put him in a golf course and you tell him to try and, is it shoot the ball or is it, yeah, it's shoot the ball to a hole, he knows how to do it, even with his eyes closed. Same thing with Serena. Reason being, they have done it repeatedly. So no matter, even the footballers like Ronaldo, same thing, the same principle. Mastery is about repetition. And mastery, these 10,000 repetitions, is 10,000 hours, is actually an average of 10 years. So for you to gain mastery in anything, and I'll tell you, the marketplace only recognizes mastery. So if you want to be the best, you have to gain mastery. And how do you get to mastery? And I'll use an analogy so that you'll never forget it. Yeah, I'll use the analogy of a musician. So there are many people who are musicians, but they will sing in the shower. The first level that they would be, the ones who sing in the shower, those ones hum. Even with a child, you will find they'll start humming, they'll pick up lyrics. So at that point, they're in level one at the exploration novice stage. Level two is where now they are humming, they are singing, and now they decide, okay, actually, I think I have a talent. So what do I need to do? They volunteer to their local church, and they practice every Saturday. Yeah, they go to church and sing on Saturday, and then every Sunday, yeah, they will every Sunday they will sing. So what happens is that they have actually moved from stage one to stage two, which is now where they have actually now started growing their potential into talent. And now, other than just singing in the shower, they are now putting in time and effort, time for practice. They're putting in that effort, yeah, to even sing. So actually, they even become good in their singing. But now they can even sing in the local concerts. Yeah, they sing in church, so they can pass as a singer. But the thing is, they might not understand the intricacies of how and why they sing, the way they are singing. So the third level is where now this person decides, okay, I've learned how to sing. I've discovered the different voices. I've discovered the voice that I sing. I can harmonize with other voices, but I now want to understand the science and the dynamics behind it. So what do? They invest in their craft. And what do? They take in, other than putting that time and effort, they go to music school. They learn how to play one or two instruments. Yeah, and then the other thing is they take voice training so that they can actually train their voice. Yeah, so there's a big difference between phase two and phase three. This person now has put in money, they are putting in effort, they're actually investing in their craft. Yeah, and they're refining that craft. Yeah, they've even taken music classes, so they've understood the science behind it. They've gotten to a level where they've perfected their craft to the point where they can actually compete internationally. So they've even gotten international certifications. So their skill is recognized globally. So this is the point of where they've put in their investment, they've gained that mastery. This is the point, and it's the same thing for you, whichever craft you are in. You're an accountant, you're in HR. This is the path you have to take. You have to invest in yourself, you have to invest in your craft, you have to gain those international certifications, you have to compete globally to be able to remain relevant. But now you might get to this point, and this is where now we find the internationals, opera singers. And so this is where, here at this level, you can charge 500 for a concert ticket, but here they charge $1,000 for you to go and hear them, yeah, in the opera. So here you become the best of the best, yeah, in your trade. But now for you to remain at this point, you have to continue upskilling yourself. You have to continue exposing yourself, and keeping abreast with the trends in your industry. But now there are certain people who feel they have reached, and what happens? They stop doing it. And what happens is that it now leads to atrophy. So this is where now you start becoming stale. You don't know what's happening in the industry. You start declining as an expert. And all of a sudden you're wondering, how come people are no longer calling you? Because you you have lost you've lost your touch. So for anyone who wants to remain relevant, this cycle has to continue. You have to continue upskilling yourself, and that is why mastery is about knowledge. It's about you putting in the time, and it's also about you putting the effort. So it's not about you just going for that one class. Or I know some people who finished university and that was the last time they were still in class. You have to keep upskilling yourself. So you keep wondering, why are certain people able to move with their careers faster? You could be the same at the same doing the same job, but your skill levels are totally different. So maybe you're at two, them they're at three, yeah, because of the input and the skilling that they have done for themselves. So the same thing, yeah, is that's the same skill that we use also with gain into mastery It's actually an unconscious skill. You have to get to the point where you gain the skill and know it unconsciously. Now to just use another analogy, so because this is the crux of this presentation, I want to use another analogy so that you don't forget how to get to mastery. And it's like when you started driving, for those who drive, yeah, at some point you didn't know that people drive until you gained the recognition that actually people have a skill that I don't have. Yeah, and that's how we recognize skills that we need to acquire. So maybe I'll use the analogy of driving. So you realize, kumbe there are people, also there are people who can drive and I don't know how to drive. So you gain that aha awareness moment. So you start from the point of unconscious incompetence. So initially you're unconsciously incompetent. This is where ignorance is bliss. You even didn't know that there are people who know how to drive until the day you saw. That's your aha awareness moment. Then you realize, okay, actually there are schools that teach. So you do your research and you find a driving school. And so you move from unconscious incompetence, yeah, where you didn't know, to now where you're consciously incompetent. So this is where you know that you don't know. Yeah, when you move to you know that you don't know, then now you get very uncomfortable and you say, you know what, I need to go to school, driving school, to gain the skill. Yeah, then you go to school, and then after gaining the skill, you move to conscious competence. So this is where now you have gained the skill, you've learned the language of there's a language on the road for those who drive, yeah, so you can easily tell the people who didn't go to driving school, yeah, how you need to change the lanes. So there's a language and there are rules, yeah, so you've learned. So at this point now you're consciously competent. You have done your driving test, you've done your theory work, and now at this point you know that you know that you know. And so this point is a good point to be, but now, as I said, you still have to continue practicing and you have to continue doing it. And so with time, after doing your 10,000 hours, what happens is that there's a point you continue driving. Like for me, I've driven maybe over 20 years. There's a point now I drive, and I drive without even being conscious of how I've driven to a place. And so this is a point where now you move to unconscious competence. So this is where now you start doing things. Yeah, you start doing things unconsciously. You've gained that competence so well that you have mastered it and you do it without you knowing. And that is the sweet spot you need to get to. That's the point of mastery. That's what I was telling you, Serena. Yeah, Tiger Woods have gotten to, because now they have developed the brain muscle, yeah, and have developed the mastery in that one thing that they are good at. So the same thing, whatever you want to master, that is the process. Even for young children, if you want to develop your young people, the same journey to mastery. Yeah. So gaining mastery, there's effort that you have to put in. The fourth move is that the battle is won in the mind. The mindset is everything. So you have to know how you think. And this is where I tell people you have to question yourself. How do I think and why do I think the way I think? Your mindset is your genius. It's your biggest asset in this world. And the way we think is our sustained thinking pattern. Yeah, mindset is your sustained thinking pattern. So there are people who believe that they can, yeah, and it's basically how you believe that you can develop yourself. So there are people who believe the way I was born, that's my lot in life. So they never do anything about themselves. Then there are other people who believe I can learn anything. So it's the mindset that you're going to choose. Yeah, if you're going to decide you're going to have a mindset that you can grow yourself, then you will move very far. I truly believe there is nothing on this earth, if I was to put my mind to, that I cannot learn, because I believe that the brain has the capacity to learn. And you need to question why you think the way you think, and you will find even your family background, your past failures and experiences, your level of exposure. If you think and if you live in the one place and you're not exposed yourself, that's why travel, reading is very important, because it broadens your thinking. Associations, the people you surround yourself with, your knowledge, as well as the culture as well as also religious influences will affect how we think. So please always question, why do I do the things the way I do them? And if you are able to expand your thinking, yeah, and know that you can grow yourself, then that actually is a growth mindset. A lot of people have a fixed mindset, and that's why you find that people who, the first job that they got, I have classmates we finished school with over 2 decades ago, yeah, and they're still on their first job. Why? Fear. The fear of change, because you believe that's the only thing that you can be able to get. Mindset. Yeah. And I can tell you, mindset is discerned. We can tell if you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset by how well you take on failure. So if you take on failure quickly, then you have a growth mindset. I know failure is painful, but the thing is, acknowledge the pain. You can mourn over it, but the thing is, pick the lesson and move forward. And guess what? Failure is part of the journey of learning. But the thing is, that ability to be able to acknowledge that I am the one who will be able to propel myself to get to my goals, that is what we call self-leadership. So you have to get to the point where you now are able to influence yourself to achieving your own goals. And you've seen it all starts with the mind. So you are at the center of this. You are the center of how far you will go with your life and with your career. Yeah. And I know I'm a Christian and I know God is in all this. But the thing is, God also requires action. So self leadership is the process by which you influence yourself to achieve your objectives. God requires action. Yeah. And self leadership is once you get to the point where you have a developed sense of who you are, what you can do, and where you're going. Once you're able to do this, I can tell you the sky is the limit. You can achieve anything that you put to your mind. Yeah, and that's the sweet spot we need to get to be able to become masters in our trade. It's your ability to influence your communication, your emotions, and behavior. So you can see self leadership is at the center. So self awareness, you have to do your work. And self motivation, you have to motivate yourself to achieve those objectives. And then you have to self regulate, because that's another thing. We do all these things, then you're unable to regulate yourself. What happens? You can lose your temper, you lose your job. I've seen many people do that. That's how people lose opportunities. Yeah. So the thing is, self regulation is also a must. You're in charge of your journey. And I keep telling people, the more you work on your self awareness, yeah, and that's by knowing where your strengths and weaknesses are and knowing what your triggers are, then what happens? It builds onto your self confidence. Once you build onto your self confidence, guess what? Anything, you get to a point where you know anything that comes your way, you can handle it. And once you are able to do that, and guess what? Self confidence is actually developed by doing. You gain confidence by achievement. So once you are able to build your self confidence, then now we are able to move to self efficacy. And now self efficacy is where you know whatever comes my way, I can handle it. And that's the best place to get to as a person. So all this are steps towards us getting to our point of mastery. And that at the point of mastery, you can dictate the amount of salary you want. You can go for whichever job that you want in the marketplace, because you know what? Everybody wants a piece of you. Everybody wants that mastery, because every time they interact with you, they gain value. Yeah. You remember, we're in the marketplace to exchange value. And please note, and I'm sure you are seeing, failure is a must. Failure is part of the learning. So don't ever run away from failure. Pick the lesson, move forward. Yeah. The fifth move is, how are you using your gifts? What problems are you solving? Because your gift is for serving others. So I've seen a lot of us believe that we were put here on earth so that we can now work, and then we grow old. No, we work, we buy houses, we buy property, land, and then we die. I don't think that's what we were put here on earth. God put us here for a greater purpose. So you need to find that purpose. And you will always find your purpose involves other people. There's a problem that you should be solving. So you saw Elliot, you also Elliot, how he ran, and he's a marathoner. You saw how he's an excellent marathoner. He broke a record. But this is a guy, by the way, who could have retired a long time ago, but he didn't. But what Elliot did is that he has actually turned around his running to inspire people to become a better version of himself, of ourselves. So the same way Elliot can change his running to inspire people to become better. Whatever you're good at, you can use it to inspire people or to solve problems here on earth. So this is a gentleman who broke a record. He showed us what self-excellence looks like. He mastered his body. He mastered his body. If you watch the documentary on Netflix and even interviews before he did the race and after, he says every time you saw him smile during the race, that was the time he always felt the most pain. That is a man who has mastered mind over matter. Yeah? And you can see he was able to mobilize people, other elite runners, to come and help him run his race. So when you become good at something, other people will come to help you move to that excellence. Yeah? So the thing is, you can see this is a guy who could have retired a long time ago. He's made his money, but it's not about money. It's about inspiring people to become better. And so for him, he decided, other than just winning and getting the money, I will inspire people to become better versions of themselves. Same thing with Serena. Serena is somebody who could have also have retired a long time ago. Can you see how many titles that she had won? Yeah? How many titles she and awards and Olympic golds she had won for her to be called the greatest. Yeah? She had been at it decade after decade after decade. The same thing. You're going to ask yourself, what is the thing that I want to be known for, that I want to add value in this world, that I will be remembered for? And I always say, if you can think it, you can actually do it. Provided you put it in your mind, yeah, just know that greatness always begins with self-leadership. So we have to tame ourselves, we got to manage ourselves. So the other thing is follow your passion, profit will always follow. So never ever start out your journey. And I always tell young people, even as you're starting your journey in your career, if you focus on the money, you will not go far. Yeah. So the thing is, work on perfecting your craft first, the money will follow. Same thing with Eliud. Isn't that what he did? He ran all those races many years, year in, year out, to the point where he decided, I'm going to break a record. And now, actually, they say right now, he's the most marketable athlete in the world. Everybody wants to be associated with Eliud. And so all these things, they've made shoes. He's a brand ambassador for a lot of products. They've even made clothes line after his name. They've made watches, running watches, after his name. He was also featured in GQ. Yeah, this is evidence that if you perfect your craft, the rest will follow. They even made a car series, a limited series of 159 cars after his name, by Suzu. And the most recent, they've even immortalized they've done a statue of him, in the Nike offices in Atlanta. So the thing is, perfect your craft, the money will follow. Yeah, I find a lot of people want to get the money first before perfecting it. Yeah, it might be short-lived, and you always wonder why. Sometimes people will change their jobs and they wonder why they're not keeping them. It's because of that. Then the seventh move, if you are going to grow, you have to be intentional. We've talked about it. And how you're going to do that is by coming up with a clear career map or a career strategy. Things just don't happen. You're going to sit down, you're going to plan, do your career coaching if you need to. Yeah, but just know that the best day of your life is the one in which you decide your life is your own. No apologies or excuses, no one to lean on or rely on or blame. The gift is yours. It's an amazing journey, and you alone are responsible for the quality of it. That's the day your life really begins. The day you decide, I want to become good at this. That is the day your life will change. And I'll tell you, life has phases, life has seasons. You need to understand which season you are in. You need to understand what you need to be doing for the different seasons. If you can get my book, you'll be able to understand it better. Come for the classes that we normally do for career coaching, and you will understand. You also have to build a brand. You have to build your personal brand that will build your career. Yeah, and you're going to build your career not for today only, but a long, enduring career. So that even if you lose your job today, if there's a retrenchment in your organization, you can still get another job. Yeah, why? Because you built a brand. People know the value that you add in organizations. And also the other thing is we are a byproduct of the people we hang out with. You need to build a good network of people. So your networking skills, you have to they have to also become top notch towards your journey of mastery. The eighth move is hindsight is 2020. Always look back, pick the lessons, and move forward. So if you're not a person who reflects, please always reflect on your journey. Journal your journey. Yeah, for me, I've been a journaler over 25, almost 30 years now. And what I'll tell you is I have learned so much about myself by journaling. So journal your journey. Just know that hard work alone is not the thing that will take you there. You've seen there are many other things that will take you there. Always leave a mark. Any organization you work in, always make sure that you have left a mark. Just know shortcuts won't pay off. You have to do your 10,000 hours. Who knows you matters a lot. So network. The social media is your prime real estate. If you want to understand how to do that, please come for classes. The world is flat. Just know right now we're in a digital age. If your name is mentioned, everybody goes to search for you. So if you're not there, or you've been posting what you ate for lunch, we know what we'll see there. That's not the brand you want to have. Don't shy away from talking about your achievements. If you don't talk about it, who will? I keep telling people, only your mother will wake up to promote you. Other than that, speak about your things because nobody will do it for you. And keep your integrity intact. You can't influence with a closed mouth. I'm sure you've come across my posts. You have to speak up. You have to speak up. You have to share eh, your value with the world, and the world will respond. Move number 9. The future is in the hands of the bold and prepared. So if you do all those moves that I've shared with you, I can tell you there is no way you will become irrelevant going forward. Yeah, I just know that the world is changing, the jobs are changing. Yeah, the world of work has changed. So be prepared. More changes are coming. It is predicted by 2030, 300 million jobs are going to, the 300 million jobs will be lost. But the key thing is that they're not just going to all disappear. New jobs are going to come up. Understand where the jobs are shifting to. Understand how to prepare yourself now. Take a strategic view of how you prepare yourself so that you will always remain relevant. And my last move is move in silence. Only speak when it's time to say checkmate. So when you move into mastery, then speak with confidence. You have to speak up. Yeah, so that's the summary of the journey to mastery. And I hope you have enjoyed. I hope you have picked some lessons. And I hope that, yes, you start getting into the journey of mastery because life is it's like a game of chess. Every move counts. Yeah, every move counts. So if you look for me online, you'll see on LinkedIn, you'll see all the programs that we do. For me, I am passionate about careers. We have a book online. Also, there's a book available. If you want to get the digital copy for the international viewers, it's on Barnes and Noble. Yeah, you can get the e-version of it for the Kenyan. It's on Nuria, as well as also the bookshop at TIA Center. We also have a Living Intentionally journal. You can still also be able to access that same channels. Even in our website, you can place an order. Yeah, so we have numerous programs around careers, leadership, just to ensure that you live an intentional, productive career life. And I can tell you, once it's productive, you will enjoy it. Yeah, and you will be relevant for a long period of time. So thank you very much. I think that is the end of my presentation. Over to you, Nolin. You're muted.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pauline. That was very, very elaborate, very in depth. I've taken a whole bunch of notes, but I'm sure I'll come back to rewatch the recording again and again and again. Thank you so, so much.
You're
We
welcome.
are almost at the top of the hour. So before I jump into it, I will ask you how many more minutes of your time can you allow us for the
No, no,
Q&A
no.
session?
I'm free. I'm free. I can give you 15 minutes.
All right. Okay. So
Mhm.
we had stop at 7:15. Okay.
Yes, that's okay.
Alrighty, so allow me to jump right into the questions, and so I'll just put them up on the screen.
Wait, I can't hear you. Are you speaking? Nolin, are you there? Okay, so the first question is, what mindset should one adopt in navigating the career ownership journey? So I think we've already touched on it. Yeah, we need to adopt a growth mindset. Yeah, growth mindset as we're trying to develop our careers. And a growth mindset is where you believe in yourself, where you believe that you can acquire and be whatever you want to be, the best version of yourself. So the key thing is to keep acquiring the right skill sets, the right exposures that will take you, yeah, to the level that you need to get to. Yeah. So for me, how I did it based on the my career milestones. The best way to do it is look at various where you are in your career, put various milestones that you want to achieve. And then now what you do is you work backwards, yeah, and look at, okay, what are the skill sets and exposures I need to have acquired before I can be able to fit into the next role. And then now you work towards acquiring those skills. So that growth mindset of knowing that, yes, I need to keep acquiring and developing myself, and also believing in yourself that you can become the best version of yourself. Yeah, that ability to just keep developing yourself, that's a growth mindset. And that's the mindset that will ensure that you actually own that journey, own your career, and it will take you to greater heights. Yeah, I've answered it. Okay,
Thank,
priorities. Okay, thank you. Priorities change with time. How
sorry.
does one factor the changes in the development plan? Yes, so that's why we have pit stops. That's why I said you have milestones. So every year, for me, how I do it, every year at the end of the year, review how well you have done against each of your milestones or your targets, where you have and where you have seen that there are changes. Look at where, understand where your career is. What are the changes that are happening in your career? Yeah, because there are various changes in the various careers. Then look at where you are and look at where the next role that you're looking out to get into is, what is the required skill sets for that next role. Then also understand what are the changes that are happening. Maybe there's a new emerging skill that has come up that you also need to acquire. So now, looking at the gap of where you are plus where you should be, look at that gap, then acquire the skills that will ensure that you can bridge that gap. That's what it is. Yeah. And it's a continuous lifelong journey. Eh? There's no time that you say, I have reached. Yeah. So, like, even for me, when I got out, started my consultancy, there are certain new skill sets I had to acquire. So, you're constantly upskilling yourself, you're constantly upgrading your skill sets. And also, more importantly, you have to keep doing it to remain relevant. Yeah, because if you are relying on that degree you did 20 years ago, that's still knowledge. So the key thing is to continuously be upskilling yourself. Yeah. Okay. How to deal with external factors that are beyond control. and might interrupt career plans. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like external factors, we had a good one. COVID. You remember COVID? COVID came. We all were affected by it. But what happened? We had to relearn and unlearn some certain skills. So a good one was before for us to do such trainings. Remember, we had to call people into a venue. It had to be physical. We had to train people. But guess what? We all had to learn the Zooms, the MS Teams to be able to now do online meetings, to do online trainings. So what you do is understand where the changes, where the shifts are happening. Then what you do is understand what is the skill set that's required for that. Always, I keep telling people, you always have to be 5 years ahead of where you are right now. Never ever be prepared for the current role. You have to be prepared for the role that you require in the next 5 years. Are we together? So you're always ahead. You're always planning ahead. You have to take a very strategic view over your career. Yeah. To understand where the changes are shifted to. Yeah. And so when those changes happen, you adjust. Yeah. But the problem is now you've not been doing it and then the change has happened. So you see, you have much more to learn and to catch up with. Yeah. Is age a factor when it comes to growth? I.e., when would you say it's late to make a certain career move? Is it earlier or the better? Yes. Is earlier the better? So, as I said in the presentation, that life has a curve. Yeah, even your career has a curve. There are various phases of our careers. So you need to understand which phase you are in. So sometimes there are certain ages, yes, you will get to. Making a career shift is too late. Yeah, because the cost of retraining, the time you require to upskill might even be too costly. Maybe you're even by that time you're overcommitted. Maybe you have a mortgage, you have children in school, so you don't even have that much resources to be able to do such changes. So that's why you need to be very clear about the various phases, career phases. So if you come to like our coaching classes, we talk about the various career phases because there are various career phases and you need to know what you should be doing in each of the phases. Because a lot of us just work and then we grow old and then we discover, oops, time has passed, I can't do anything. That's why a lot of people, when they retire at 55, they wonder, how come I'm starting my business? Most people who start their businesses at 55 after retirement, they don't take off. Why? You're too old at that point. You're too tired. Maybe you're too tired. Yeah, and I can tell you, starting off and pulling off a business off its ground, it requires effort, a lot of effort. So you need to understand if you want to go the business route, when is the sweet spot for you to come out to be able to start that business? Yeah, so there are phases. There's a career life cycle. Yeah, and so also staying on the job and waiting to retirement is also another option for many other people. So you are going to decide which is the option, but you need to know at which point. Yeah, so if you get the book, you can be able to read through that. I elaborate it very well. But if even better, come to the coaching classes, the Ascend program, you'll be able to go through it in detail. But yes, age is a determinant, key determinant.
Okay.
How to design a career plan. So now that one, as I was telling you, Nolene, that's like a PhD. I have
Yeah.
summarized it. I've summarized it in the presentation. So it actually starts with now that self-awareness, self-discovery. You have to discover what you're good at. Then you have to nurture the area that you're good at. Then you're going to decide where can I best use my gifting, which career best fits with me. So yeah, you can even do some psychometric tests at that point. It will tell you which is the best career to play out, best use your giftings in. And then once you get into the right career path that will utilize your key strengths, then now we start now working towards how to grow in that career path. Yeah, so it's a journey. Yeah, so it's actually a lifelong journey. Career plans is not a one-day thing. It's something that you do in your lifetime, but you keep upskilling. You have to keep reviewing how well am I doing against my age and my career. At this point, what should I be doing according to my age? What should I do to move to the next point? So there's a lot of self-evaluation, yeah, self-development, challenge. You have to keep challenging yourself to grow yourself. So it's a lifelong activity, but it takes a lot of self-evaluation. Okay, how does one stay disciplined and consistent throughout the journey of career development? So for me, the key thing is it starts with where I started my presentation. You
Discovery.
discovering the thing that you're good at. Because if you're doing the thing that you're good at, you never get bored. You never have to be pushed at it to do it, because you enjoy it. So you'll do it naturally. And that's why I'm very passionate about people getting to understand where their giftings are. Because if you're playing out from your area of strength, the only thing that will happen is that you just get better at it, that you will keep
Mm,
innovating in it. Yeah, you can imagine if I didn't enjoy people, would I have stayed 28 years doing what I'm doing? Developing
mm,
new programs, writing books. No, it's because I enjoy it. It intrigues me. You only move from one level to the next. You understand? You only get better and better. Yeah, so that thing, that sweet spot of yours, you have to find it. That's how you will remain consistent in it. You will keep
mm.
you'll even be looking for new knowledge in that area so that you can
Yeah.
keep growing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have to find our area of gifting. Yeah, we have to find the thing, our potential. Well, what is the potential you were born with so that we can move it to talent. And once you're playing out from your area of talent, the sky is the limit. That's why a violinist will play the violin. That is why Serena has played tennis for four decades. You understand? That is why Eliud has done what he has done. Because you never get tired of it. You were born for it.
Mm.
Okay?
Yeah. How can one prepare a realistic and achievable career growth and development plan?
Yes. So I think I've already touched on it. You remember
Mm,
the journey of your career plan? So it's what
mm.
I was saying. You
Oh, you
look at
showed.
what you have right now, look
Mm,
at where you need to go, look at the gaps, try and see how you can bridge the gap. So it's
mm,
consistent. That so as you're moving from one level to the next, that's exactly what you're doing. Look at the people who are ahead of you. What are the skills they require? Yeah. Then you look at yourself. Ask yourself, do I have them? Yeah. I remember, like for me, when I wanted to move into managerial level, yeah, that was when I was 20s. I had targeted to get into management by 30 and I'd
mhm,
targeted to get into directorship by 40. So by 30,
mm,
what did I do? I looked at what do other managers have that I don't have. So I realized they have leadership, they've developed their leadership skills. I saw that they've also maybe gone back to school, they've done their masters. So what did I do? I did the same. Yeah. So I went back for my masters. I did a postgraduate in HR. And then I did leadership trainings, short trainings to broaden my mindset. So once I've done that, I felt ready to be able to take that role. You understand? Because now I know what it entails. Yeah. And so when
mm,
that opportunity came, I was able to fit into it because I didn't have fear because I'd prepared for it. You understand? So when
yeah.
you're prepared for it, there's no fear.
Mm,
Problem is when you're not prepared and the opportunity comes, you get it. Now the thing is when you get that role and you're not prepared, what
mm,
happens? The thing that you have not mastered is the thing that will become your problem when you're at the top. So take it
mm,
systematically so that now you know that you have the right skill set, have the right mindset for the levels that you are pushing for.
mm.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pauline, for taking the
Mm,
time, sharing your knowledge, sharing from your experience and from your skill. I really, really appreciate it. On behalf of the Safe Space community, thank you. Thank you so much.
thank
Um,
you.
we hope to have you once again. But before we have you once again, I will ask for anyone who wants to reach you for the program, the Ascend Leadership Program, or for
Mhm.
any other reason that someone will want to reach out to you, how do they reach you?
Okay. I think the best way is for them to look for me on LinkedIn. It's my name is Pauline Kathure Kiraithe. Yeah.
Mm,
Yes. They'll find me there. If
mhm.
you inbox me, I'll be able to respond. and I respond within 24 hours.
Thank you. Thank you for
Okay.
sharing because I've seen there's someone who would asked where are the questions being posted. So to this person, you can send them to me or you can send them directly to Pauline on her LinkedIn page. She will respond within 24 hours. And before we part, get your copy, guys. This is like having her available 24/7. So get your copy of the book, then register for her classes so you can get even more in-depth and one-on-one support to understand how to own and grow your career. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pauline. Thank you, everyone, for giving us 12 additional minutes. Have a fantastic evening. Have a fantastic balance of day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.